Your Trauma Talks, an incredible new series that brings live conversations with individuals who share your resilience and understand your story. Join us as we dive deep into the realm of mental health, exposing the truth behind the challenges these remarkable individuals have faced. Discover how you have overcome adversity as these incredible souls take the stage in New York City, sharing their inspiring stories with everyone. Experience the power of your Trauma Talks on Trauma Talks Thursdays, live as we bring you face to face with individuals who have triumphed over their trauma and come out stronger on the other side. Hear their raw and honest accounts of their struggles and how they have found healing and hope in the midst of pain. Don't miss out on this rare opportunity to connect with those who truly understand what you are going through. Join us for an unforgettable evening every Thursday of sharing, support, and solidarity as we come together to break the stigma surrounding mental health. Experience the magic of your Trauma Talks live in New York City, where compassion and courage converge to create a space of healing and empowerment. It's time to speak up, listen, and learn from those who have walked a similar path. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trauma Talks Thursdays, episode 36. Wow. What an amazing journey, as I say, week after week. You know, we come together here every single week, Brittany Purr and myself, as she's sitting backstage, eagerly awaiting, as she has so much to share. As her past week, she had so much different type of experiences that she really need to share and touch a lot of your hearts. So I want to touch a little bit tonight on traumas and mental places that some of you put your elderlies, the elder people in your lives in, by just not understanding them. You see, I had to reflect a little bit as I revisited this week my talk that I did in Paris, speaking about Alzheimer's and the mental place it sends the loved ones into. And I was reminded of that just because the Empire State Building, everyone knows me, knows I speak a lot about New York City, as this is my home. And I appreciate my home. New York City has the beautiful Empire State Building, and it was lit up so beautifully in neon blue, like a teal blue. I'm telling you, it was beautiful. It is done like this because of Alzheimer's awareness, which took me way back to my grandmother and compassion and the patience that you need to have when someone in your family that you love suffers from Alzheimer's or dementia. Trauma and mental health comes in all different ways for you as the individual, because it's all about how you handle it. But then it comes down to as well how you treat others. See, when you love yourself and you appreciate you and you understand you, you will be able to project that outside as well, especially in your circle of loved ones. In these times, a lot of people or individuals, especially in family, within family members, treat their elder ones badly. They curse them, they say bad things to them. Some even hit their own, even relatives and parents. And this is true. We see videos of it on Reels, and it's proven time and time again. You see, these things are trickled down, and the root of the problem stems when a child have to see their parent abusing elderly or their own parents. And with time, they lose respect. And this is where it stems from. I want you to understand today, every single person, every single individual lives in a different era, and they also have to catch up with your era. They were there once where you were,
Always remember that. And you will get to that point where they are today. So respect them, love them, and show them compassion. You do not need to add to their stress and mental state of mind where they have overcome to be the people that they are, and then for you to abuse, insult, and not show them the compassion that they deserve. It really hurts and breaks them. So, with that little talk, I hope that you all have a change of heart and a change of mind to those around you. But first, as we started today, Therapeutic Thursdays, episode 1, with Dr. Shirley Regina Pierre Robertson. Tonight was episode 1, and she did an amazing job. And tonight she touched deep, letting people know that this is raw. It is the truth, because the individuals, it's all about their resilience. So before further ado, one thing I need to do right now is bring up my co-host, Brittany Purr. Here we go. Hi, Brittany. How
Hello,
are
hello. Doing great and doing good work this week. So that's that's all I can say. Like, for those who know me, my whole modus operandi, my MO, is to empower and inspire people into resilience, into taking command of their life when life seems to be spiraling out of control. And there are always, always windows of opportunity. I love to say choice is our superpower as we navigate the chaos that we collectively share, that we've shared on this show. And it really comes down to those things of being empowered, of putting one step in front of the other each day, and of looking forward to creating a beautiful future for ourselves and for others around us. So yeah, it's been chaotic. It's been chaotic this week. And for those who know what's happening in America and dealing with a lot of people dealing with mental health right now and really turning towards finding support. And support is what we can do in any state of crisis that anyone is experiencing. And we get to step up and really expand. And I am thankful to our weekly supporters who are part of this community as much as we are, who y'all are part of this, of making this expand and getting this to more people who need to hear the messages of resilience and courage that are shared here. So, I don't know if I should go into the whole troll thing, but that's kind of like a completely different.
I will give you your 5 minutes alone to do that. I just really want to. I know you've been really super busy helping a lot of people and talking to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's what she do. Every one of you who's listening to this podcast, you can reach out to her. It's obscurum.com, and you can message her personally. Brittany Purr will give you her information. You just have to Google her. Actually, she pops up all over. She's all over your trauma talks. She's on Broadway. Hello. She's on billboards. She's all over with Raw as well as other motivational speakers. So just Google her if you really need to get in touch with her, because she's a life coach. She's an amazing, amazing human being altogether. So Brittany, here's what I'll do for you for right now. I'll come back on here at 9:15 to give you some minutes to talk about what you've been experiencing and how sad it is, because we talk about this as cyberbullying all the time. It's just in a different dark way.
Yep. So this week I've had the fun of dances with trolls. And, who isn't familiar with online trolls? They try to take you down. They try to comment on your appearance. They try to project upon you or put you in a camp against your own will or against who you authentically are. But here's the thing. Everything that is thrown your way is useful in some way, shape, or form. And it's taking that energy, but not taking it on you, like not Velcroing the stuff that they're spewing at you, It's standing in your sovereignty, standing in your power, reclaiming your power, and utilizing that energy that they're sending towards you into the way that you want to use it. So, for example, my political affiliations are I'm not really in any camp. I have my own very distinct political affiliation. And I laugh about that because I'm not going to go down that pathway. It's very confusing and people are like, huh? But the fact is these trolls have decided to become my greatest fans. And since they've decided to become my greatest fans, I've decided to see them and figure out how they're playing their game. And this has been done very successfully. And this has actually boosted my account. This has worked in my favor as people see the insults and slanders and all of these things sent my way. People have stepped up to contribute, to support, to be resilient, to see what resilience looks like, and to move forward in a positive way and see a certain group of people in the way that they transparently are. And that's the thing. It's not about leaning back or recoiling from things. It's one of those opportunities, which, as you'll hear from our guest today, it's one of those opportunities to lean in. Take up your shield, take up that sword, and fight the good fight. And oftentimes, that not only inspires others, it puts you in your full authenticity as you stand up for yourself, for what you believe in. And that resilience is palpable. That resilience ripples out as people see you standing in your power. So I'm going to keep this a little short, but I just want to ask everybody, as our guest shares her story, that you just see how each step of the way, she hasn't let her power go to just staying in a state of being a victim. She reclaims her power. She stands up and she moves forward in love, in light, in beauty and grace, every step, every challenge along the way. And I want everyone who's tuning in today to kind of just let that seep in. And I know we've had so many incredible guests on, but this one, I think we get a look at it from that state of reclaiming your power and what that can look like. Thank you, Ra.
Wow. You know, you spoke about how many guests we had on the show. And I want to shout out not just Dr. Robertson, who was on today, but also Arita Taylor. Such an amazing, like I go head on head with her sometimes in a loving way because we bounce every other day or so now with messages, and she's so amazing. She's really raw. That's like all I can say is like I have met a few November 4th people, and the few of us that I know that I have some sort of connection with, it's like we're real, like cut from the same kind of cloth. Let's just say 3 people I know, includes Arita and myself, and we're all into mental health and helping people. And it couldn't get better than that. It shows me that I'm not doing something wrong. And that's the greatest part about it. So with Arita, I just want to tell you, thank you so much. A lot of our guests that we have, especially our amazing guest who's sitting backstage, who Brittany Pearl is going to just tell you a little bit about her before we introduce her, is because of Arita. Dr. Robertson, this new amazing series that we just started, this new podcast we just started, Therapeutic Thursdays, is basically because of Arita. So, Arita, I just want to tell you again, I say this all the time. When God cannot come, he sends. Y'all know that. and nothing happens before the right moment. So, Brittany Pearl, would you please do us a great favor? Hey, Arita, I love you, baby. And thank you so much for being here as a Rastas and an Upscorum Night and an amazing follower and fan and supporter of mental health. Because I remember when you told your story that night, you talked about how you went wrong, like basically on foot. You did the footwork so that people can get the care and the help that they need. And oh my God, I know how hard it is to do that type of things. And I am telling you, hats off to you. So all of you, as Brittany had it for the past week, take your hand, give yourself a pat on the back. Come over here, give your heart a pat and say, hey, you, thank you. I love you. Thank you for bringing me from yesterday to today. I think our guest is ready. Let's do this. Brittany Pearl, please introduce our amazing guest tonight.
Kébéchet is the third eldest child in her family, and as a dedicated muslimah, she is a mother of three, a sister, a student, a teacher, a community advocate, a nutritional chef, a business manager, and much more. Kébéchet is full of heritage and culture, exuding confidence, ambition, and compassion. With a warrior soul and a creator spirit, she possesses many skills that are both valued and loved by all. Trust me, I already love her. Throughout her life, she has triumphed over significant challenges that has her resume including titles of survivor and defender, alongside the trauma that she has endured with strength and resilience, and I will say grace as well. Welcome, Kébéchet, to the stage.
Woo! Welcome. How are you?
I'm well, and you? Glad to be here. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good to see
Awesome.
everyone.
We're excited to have you. So I will just step backstage. You can introduce yourself to everyone.
Okay, sure. Well, the introduction speaks for itself, and the trauma I've experienced is an unusual one, and just a little bit back of the past couple of days, I've just been centered on reinforced focus and communication with so many through the experience I have endured. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, do you want me to continue or do you want to do a Q&A?
Well, let's start from the beginning. And what brought you to this place of being such a powerful woman, steeped in faith, but still having beauty, grace, love, and so much ambition?
First and foremost, I have to thank Creator, Allah, sallallahu wasallam, because without my faith, I don't know where I would be without, because that has kept me through the dark and unknown experiences. And I just can't see a life without my faith and those that are connected, that have higher consciousness to continue to support me and drive me to continue, because this is just an experience in life, though tragic and unnecessary. It's still an experience, and being strong to get through it, because I'm promised to have a resolve. That's what I look for.
Awesome. So please go ahead, share your story from the beginning to what brought you now, the roller coaster of challenges and coming through things with your confidence intact and becoming a survivor and a defender. And okay. I'm going to step off stage.
Sure. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So let's see. I'll just start with a little backdrop. Um, I have prevailed 2 childhood fires, 3 automobile accidents, thus some chronic health conditions, 2 stalkers, and subsequently an abusive union that got physical on one occasion, which then had me know there was no way to work it out, because that was then 2 times there was, a disagreement to that level of verbal abuse, and then the third time became physical. So I initiated the divorce, and from that came daily um, behaviors of wicked acts. And we do have 3 children in common that have been in the scuffle of all of this ordeal. And moving to say now this month is actually 3 years with this ordeal. Um, so April 2022, my life changed from the acts of the husband. First, I was visiting a sister's house and just came out the shower, and things felt strange, on the visit there. And it was almost like time stopped outside, but everything was operating as normal in the inside. The children were at the park. Her and I were cooking dinner for the children. And then we hear a knock at the door. It is a SWAT team, rooftop snipers, quarter mile, blocks, of the neighborhood was blocked off. Tankers, and so how it escalated to that was the husband orchestrated this idea that I kidnapped our child, I trespassed our marital home, just a lot of false accusations. So I was apprehended and held at 2 different, what I call dungeons, because this is not a pretty place at all. It was deplorable conditions and the treatment of many of the people there. So at the first place, I was there for maybe 48 hours. So on you have to change into their uniform. And so I did while I'm waiting to find out what is going on, a court hearing, and have some type of documents of, to explain how did it get to here. So I denied, or rather declined to participate in things that just didn't sound right. I was asked to give DNA, to take pictures. I refused. I was then locked in a room with no toilet, nowhere to sit, for hours. I would say it was maybe 9 hours, and then they came to check on me, asking, "So are you going to comply?" And I said no. So they slammed the door, left me in there for more hours. I kept tapping on the door, asking, for female assistants, because at that time, I then got my mens, and I was continued to be ignored. And so it was about maybe shift change towards 11 that evening, 11 in the night, Eastern Standard Time. So that female agent came to assist me and gave me the sanitary that I needed. At that time, water, and offered, a sort of, snacks. But I declined the snack. I did take the water. So again, I was there for 48 hours. Then moving forward, I was then transferred to another location where I was going to have the hearing with the alleged accusation against me. So there I was immediately attacked with Islamophobia, rhetoric, um, nasty comments towards me. And I just walked in. I don't, again, no one knows one another. I'm not familiar with any of them. And just brutal, derogatory verbiage and treatment there. So I had to change into the uniform that they offered. I was put in a room with an accommodation place to sit and water and toilet. And just keep in mind, I have my mens through this ordeal. So this is now by the third day that I'm here in incarcerated. And I maybe I was in that room for about 4 hours before I was told what was going on, give me any type of paperwork, saying that I would see the judge at, I believe it was, to come in the next hour. I was not offered any food or anything until I was to comply with doing a body scan and the DNA type thing that they said had to be done, for safety precautions. So I did that. And then I did the body scan. I agreed to doing the body scan, but not offering up any DNA or anything like that. So in the body scan, I've never been through this before. So what they alleged, the technician saw something that was not his normal to seeing, took it as something alarming that I came in their facility with an object or something that couldn't be explained. And in actuality, it's part of one of my health conditions as to what they saw in my heart lung area. So from not misidentifying that it's a health issue and not me, bringing something into their facility, I was put on what they call dry cell. And again, I've never been down this road. I have no clue to what that all means. It was maybe, I kept on knocking on the glass, it's a glass door that it was, but that separated me from the other, like the intake area. And so again, I'm on my mens. I asked for accommodations. I was laughed at and I was told, you have to wait because we have to see and understand what's on this scan. And I'm like, well, if you show it to me, I could maybe give you an answer. I don't know what it is that could be a discrepancy. Nonetheless, it went into hours. I was in dry cell for 37 hours without water, or I forgot to say, with dry cell, as when I first entered that particular cell, I had access to toilet paper, water, and toilet. Well, now with dry cell, they turned all the water off. They took the toilet paper until their superior was to examine what was on the imaging of the scan. So I went 37 hours without anything. I started bleeding on myself because they refused to give me sanitary. So I'm just sitting there in my own blood, and I'm continuing to ask for assistance. And it wasn't until what they call third shift change, that there was then now a female available to assist me, but not even the superiors, not even the medical would, take my concerns, nor their superior white shirts would even give me the time of day to, translate what's going on and, give me clue me in. It was exhausting. It was cold. It was just really brutal. All that cement and the bleeding. It was disgusting and just barbaric. Further, I did have the hearing the next day, but subsequently my experience being there was horrible each and every day, and I had to take record of what my experience was every day. And sometimes it got me a little out of my mind, or out of body experience, because that I had to write what was going on, not only just with me, but what the other ladies around me, who I've seen people die, I've seen medical mistreat, other women. It wasn't just me, and it was just so barbaric, this dungeon experience. And through it all, it was just my faith that kept me grounded in this pursuit to clear my name. It was exhausting, on top of the medical condition that I have. Jonathan Mark was well aware, and any counsel, district attorney, they were aware of my medical condition, of needing infusion treatments and the whole 9 yards, and even medical grievance that I've put in. They refused it twice. I sat there ultimately for 11 and a half months with daily occurrences of being food poisoned for 32 days by 4 employees there. 2 then subsequently got fired, but 2 remained, and those 2 that remained, taunted me throughout. I've had many days in solitary confinement for disagreeing, or as they say, not complying with their rules and regulations. I refuse to give DNA. I refuse to do pictures, anything I refuse to do, because, it's about my rights and my morals. Nothing in the court communication can explain and justify what's going on and why. Am I being treated this way on top of a known chronic medical condition? So often I spent many days in solitary confinement for the most insane, um, insipid things. There was, what is it? You sitting in a chair using the phone and having no socks on. I was put on a 24 solitary confinement. Um, Even back to when I had the food poisoning, and other women inmates laughed at me, and I threw the food on the floor, after finding out, this is what was occurring. And so I got a 24 for that. No, that was a 3-day um, solitary confinement. Then, and so many other times of occurrences. There was even a time where I had to write a communication to the court, and I'm, trying to find out who can assist me, the case manager, and go from there. So on that document, I did write my needs. And also at the top, I didn't know who this person would be, but I said I will not be treated, you know, like Sandra Bland, um, or Khalif Browder. And because I was already in solitary confinement when I had written this communication, I had to then give it to the on the agent that was on duty at that time, and she didn't like what I wrote and told me to write it over again. And I said, no, I'm not writing it over. So I got more days in solitary confinement for advocating for myself that I'm not going to be, you're not going to try to do an insanity, try to make me go out of my mind by putting me off, in solitary confinement and then off solitary confinement. It was just the back and forth. I was even attacked in my sleep with defecation, and someone who had their mens rubbed it on me while I was asleep. And instead of the facility holding that person accountable, they put me in 3 weeks solitary confinement, as to, they said that that was the best way they can protect me from not being attacked again. And I apologize if anything, what I'm saying is a little intense for anyone, but it's just what happened. And the medical team just was of no assistance. You would think they'd be on your side to advocate, but that wasn't the case. I've as a Muslimah, I'm also a vegetarian. I only eat once a day. I had threats of, if I don't eat, I'll go in solitary confinement. Just so many things that occurred for Lewis, for small nuances of their idea of complying. And I just wasn't with it. I am not going to go against my morals. What does not, absolutely is insane. What else has occurred? On my last, so now I was incarcerated twice for the same issue. So I was then the charges were dropped, and then I was released, but they kept one that we were still going to court to pursue remedying that particular issue. So I was out for nearly a year or so. It was about 15 months. And then so I had to do, I had a scheduled upcoming court hearing. And I went to one, in April 24. And then from that hearing, a next one was scheduled. And I told during the court hearing, I said, that date does not, work for me. It conflicts with, my infusion sessions and the 2-hour disadvantage from getting to, in between the location where I'm staying and to where this court was. I was rearrested for not coming to that court date, and then had to sit another 3 months for the alleged not coming to court, when I was explicit that I do not have access to come on the same day when I have previously scheduled infusion and other medical appointments on the same day. Let me see. During that experience of 90 days, it was a little bit better. I don't even think I should even use the word better, but I guess a little familiar with some of the team agents that worked there. They knew my story and got to learn who I was and not what I was being portrayed to be by assumptions. Because with what, as to why there was SWAT team and what do you call it, the marshal, federal agents and everything that came to in 2022, that was because the husband told officials that I am a Hamas member and so forth and so on. Just totally distorting my identity. But nonetheless, during this 90 days, I had a period of 3 weeks where I couldn't even wear shoes because of my feet were so swollen from my knee down to my foot was swollen because the facility stopped giving me about a nutritious meal. It wasn't nutritious to begin with, but nonetheless, it was, they stopped giving me protein and vegetables. So all there was just starch on the tray. And what am I to do with that? So I ate what I could, just to say I ate something, but, I'm accustomed to fasting and what have you. I did lose a significant amount of weight, but I wasn't worried about that. It was just due to the lack of, and where it is that I've seen their facility doctor, and she confirmed that it's because I'm not receiving any fruits, vegetables, or protein, as to why. And there's a particular name that it's called when you swell. So again, I couldn't even wear shoes for 3 weeks. So yeah, that was my experience at this dungeon. And I seek justice, and I'm pursuing thus how devastating it has been, that it shouldn't have occurred. I pursue to have everything corrected and to free myself from the chaos and, caused maliciously from my husband just because he didn't want a divorce. So I guess at this point I will yield, because I'm quite a talker and I don't want to ramble on. So I yield the mic to the two hosts, and I greatly appreciate the time. And if I could answer any questions to any of the attendees, that will be awesome. So I yield the mic.
What a story. Ah,
Well, we saw it in the comments. People are saying to you to say you shouldn't be the one saying sorry, and everyone is feeling sorry for what you have been through. It is your trauma, it is your resilience, it's who you are and who you have become. I
Yes.
was in Paris. You see, everything connects so differently and amazingly. When I went to Paris to do that same talk that I started today's show with, I met this amazing, amazing soul named Cheryl Mays. I am about to cut her talk up, that our interview, and put it all over Instagram, YouTube, like I have been doing. And she told me a similar story. You should hear her story. How innocently she was and how she was treated so badly. And the sad thing is, when you hear her story and find out that the people who treated her badly, she used to volunteer for. So I'm really touched by your story and thank you so much. There's a question I have my beautiful, amazing sister from another Mr. Arita Taylor. She's asking you this, and this is I think where you could have swing it into the end. What does your healing look like now? Like, tell us from all that, what you have learned, what you have experienced to be this person you are today and where you are standing in life. Now, you said this happened 3 years or 5 years ago, or 8 years ago, right?
3. It took
3 years,
2022.
2022. So, wow, look at this. So, you tell us now how your healing looks like and where you are today. And Brittany, you can continue.
Would you like me to answer?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So I've invested in myself, self-care like nobody's business. I've had time to myself as like in university years where, I didn't have children. And it was kind of like that feeling of just you. What do you do with yourself day to day? Because in this ordeal, the 3 children are, well, the 2 younger ones are still with the husband. So I also have not seen them because of this ordeal, his malicious acts. So you can never tell what he'll do. And I'm just being patient to go through the proper channels through court hearings to make that improvement. But on a daily, like I said, just the self-care. I have 3 groups, group meetings that I attend, and then 2 additional ones that are on Zoom. And it has been so wonderful because it's given me a sense of sort of a normalcy, though because I'm just accustomed to being a mom, and to fill my day to just be the most supportive to myself, to make sure that I keep my mind clear and just renewing what me is, that's what I do.
Well stated. And I think that is such a clear thing to do, to take care of yourself after all those ordeals, to make sure that you are taking care of the one thing that you have, which is yourself. And I want to thank you for sharing a story of your experience within that system, the prison system, the dungeons, the treatment. And I know of others who have been through it as well. And, even just a few days of that experience has left deep scars of trauma.
Yes.
So I fully acknowledge you for being able to be with us tonight, to share that story, and to share it with the resilience and strength that you're still fighting the good fight to see your kids, that you're still going after all of that, that you are here as a complete being, and that you are putting in the care and the love for yourself that you truly deserve through this process. And thank you. Thank you for showing us what extreme strength and power looks like, even though it's not easy, even though, there's these moments where you probably didn't feel like that. You are truly incredible and inspiring. Thank
Yeah.
you. Seriously, thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm
So
grateful for this opportunity.
for those who are joining us, what is your greatest learning through that experience that you can share with them and unpack for them?
My greatest experience is I came in sound mind and I left with sound mind because of my core foundation. And I appreciated the unusual moment that Creator has sat me down in an unusual way to use this as a time, like a teaching moment, and like a rediscovery of myself, what it was to be just me alone, not taking care of others, and again just investing in myself. Who am I? Because I've been dealing with identity fraud, as well, coupled in with this accusation that husband has brought up, and just that just kept me going. Just to reconnect with the core of me and making sure that I left this place intact, because like I said, I refuse to not write, to remove it off of any paperwork that I wrote, that who you wouldn't do me like, because I know their stories, Khalif Browder and the other lady. So Sandra Bland, I just didn't, I wanted to survive and be able to walk out of there 200% as I came in, in a whole grounded mind.
Amazing. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And with this information that came through about being whole, about being complete through all of the trials and tribulations that you experienced, what is one thing that you are doing with that experience out in the world?
So without mentioning any names, because these, so many individuals, within, the territory of this dungeon have been pivotal to help, everyone that they come in contact with. So I leaned on the available support team of outside, intervention that the facility did, have. Still have, I have a relationship with those individuals outside to present day. And each of these ladies, let me see, 5 ladies, have introduced me to another person, and they've introduced me to another. And so now I have this vast community that is familiar with this particular sector and the judicial system, and has been a profound support, of me knowing that I will succeed, because I've met through some of those 5 ladies, 3 ladies who similar situation to me, of a union counterpart being malicious, and did what they did, and they were successful. So I only have nothing but success in my mind.
Beautiful.
Inshallah.
I really love this, and I want to tell you a special thank you for coming on here today because I think you're like one of the first of the Islamic faith, and it so happened that you're female as well. And
Awesome.
oh my God, your trauma.
Yes.
You really, Dr. Hawkins is on here tonight as well, and she spoke at your Trauma Talks live on Broadway, and she said to everyone that that this couldn't have happened to anyone else. It had to happen to me, meaning it had to happen to her. Same with you in this situation. Because I'm sure in your mind you would think if it was someone else in that situation, they would have end their story or figure out a way out or just like they give up. A lot of people, like Brittany and myself were speaking yesterday, you know, we talk about right here in the United States alone last year, over 50,000 people that is known about committed suicide. Over 2 point something million people attempted suicide.
Yes.
And over 20 million people right here in the United States have suicidal thoughts or thought about doing something to harm themselves. And it is very, very, I say, you have to be very, very strong to pull yourself out of that mud, out of that dirt, that quicksand that you're sinking in to be able to be where you are today. So, as we started the show, you give yourself a pat on the back. And again, as I spoke to someone yesterday, because I'm always speaking to someone relating to something that they are going through. And I mentioned this week after week as well. What is meant for you shall never pass you by, and what passes you by was never meant for you. Do not matter the direction or the place you end up. There's nothing you could have done to change certain things. It was written like that. It has happened. That is your lesson. That is your stepping stone to step up your ladder of success, to have a better life, to understand. You have to learn from your traumas. So one more time, Kébéchet, I want to tell you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm grateful to you for coming out here and sharing this amazing story that many people looking at this podcast or listening back to this podcast tonight, Trauma Talks Thursdays, episode 36, will be able to learn something, understand that they are not alone, as you has transformed your trauma into something that can help others as well as yourself. So thank you so much. I'll leave you in the amazing hand of Brittany Purr. There are so many amazing comments, and I think Brittany, you could just read out a couple of them. We have joining in Jenny, we have Chandra Babulal, my mom, we have Jay Rex, we have Dr. Cecilia Hawkins, Hochun, we have Sweetie Nuri, we have Karma, we have Jenny is here. We have Yolando Stewart, Asians, Arita. We have amazing Tamara Patrick is here with us. Robert Pauline saying my aunt is here. We have Viva Miss and so many others. I think Dr. Robertson is also here looking on as well. So we want to tell all of our Rastas, Obscurum Knights, your fans and our fans, all our amazing followers who listen to us and follow us week after week. Thank you. Please remember to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Like, share this because you do not know who needs to hear it. So all of you, I want to say good night and thank you all again. Brittany Purr, the stage is all yours.
All right, so stay on for a little while. And we have a question from the chat from Sweetie Nori, which is, what advice would you give someone going through what you have been through, especially if they are innocent?
That's a great question because that's my story. I am fighting, though my heart bleeds. My heart bleeds for my peppsedz each and every day. I want to cry, I want to scream, but I'm never left alone because of Allah, sallallahu wasallam, that I have to pursue whatever avenues that must be explored. You can't give up. You know, I've been met with challenge after challenge, brick wall within the walls there. But I refuse to be moved because of my foundation. My focus is to free myself and regain what was stolen, senseless. So just stand in faith. If you have faith, if let that be your driving force. So who's your greatest inspiration? I have a team of inspiration. Mama, I couldn't have done this without Mama and everyone, you know, in my of my kindreds that have been by my side. I have seen so many ladies there that didn't have a support network. So it is greatly important to have develop a support network there, and have a support network outside, because it did make a difference between those who did make success, whatever their case dynamic was. There is a difference in having a support team, having someone on the outside calling you, you know, well, for you to call them or to visit, you know, whatever the case may be. But yeah, that would be definitely that. I hope that's helpful, inshallah.
Mhm. Is there any suggestions that you can give on how to develop that support network or what worked for you within that?
So without, to be general as much as possible, being that I'm pursuing this case still, figure out who you can have alliances with there, because I did meet some good people there, and they'll be able to point you in the direction of who can best advocate for you. And it's a matter of, you know, like how you have to figure out who a person is. You have to vet them. Well, you have to vet the people even there. How much information should you trust with, whether it's your cellie, as they is the word that they use, or whether it's a team member agent there. So yeah, just to do that, and then and less is more, because some information can be used against you. And I definitely found that out, but I'm a one who will challenge a situation. And like, again, as many times I was put on dry cell and in the hole, I remained grounded. You know, I say what I mean and I mean what I say.
Mhm.
So it's again to each one's tolerance. And my tolerance comes from my foundation. So it, see whatever one's limit is, and I push the envelope. So I hope that's helpful.
Mhm. Yeah. And that was beautiful, being committed to your truth and then bringing in discernment, and not only discernment, but, you know, testing and letting people share who they really are and reveal that, and giving the space for that to happen.
Yes.
So,
And if I can also add, even the beautiful thing, despite the wicked chaos that I experienced there, I've walked away with 13 first-time ladies there, and we still keep in contact till this day. So I am gratefully, you know, in bliss for the relationships that I've built from that, and we still support each other to this day.
nice. So even forming community through one of the toughest experiences that I think anybody could really experience in some regards. But out from that came this beautiful, committed community of women. that are holding each other up. And that is amazing.
Yes.
So I have a question for you. Are you open for people to reach out to you if they are experiencing something similar, or is that something maybe down the line that you would be open to?
Oh yeah. So I do have email. We can start off, with doing email, because being that this is live, from the email, then we could further go into like more of a private, one-on-one sector, exchanging other more private information. And yeah, I'm here to network and build, because the community is what's going to make my story come to a national informative level, because I do have the support of CARES.
Mhm.
I don't want to say which location it is, but they have been involved. What I've experienced is not civil. It was, it's an inhumane experience, and my human rights, dignity was brutally, interrupted. Even within there, I was held at rifle point to stand up on a wall and comply. And I'm just not doing it. So, all right, again, you want to put me in the hole for it? Well, put me in the hole.
Mhm.
Because I'm not going against my foundation. Creator is who I answer to. So I'm here to network. If I can be a breath of fresh air to someone else, and I'm here to network with anyone. The door is open. So my email I will give is MADAME CC5
What was that again?
CC, so cat, and then 5 at att.net.
And at what.net?
att.net.
Okay. So that is Madam CC5 at att.net.
Correct.
Okay. So I put that in the chat so that people can reach out to you. And what is one last phrase or share or something our community can keep in mind as they go through their day or their week with whatever situation that they're dealing with? What is that one phrase or sentence or word that you would want to share with them?
Patience is patience, love, and something kind of spunky is can't stop, won't stop.
Nice.
Yeah.
Patience, love, but can't stop, won't stop. I
Yes.
love it. I think that is the perfect balance.
Yes. Alhamdulillah. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us this evening and for sharing your incredible story, for giving us a piece of your resilience, of your strength, of your beauty, your grace, and your faith. Thank
Correct.
you.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody, or a good day, or a good afternoon.
Peace and love, everyone.